Malo mo e lau maria ho e ki pia moe lelei ai ka kai whanua. Aloha kākou, ho e ki pia moe kainga ofa hono kotoa. Koe tau polo kalama whunga ni oi hoani pia moe le ti o Nima Tolu Taha PI. Island Girl to Airline Pilot is the name of a new book about love, sacrifice, and taking flight. Silva Mcleod is the Tongan girl who dreamed the impossible dream and became an airline pilot. She joins us right now. Silva, malo le lei tari fia ko he polo kalama he hoani.
Hello, Lele John. Pleased to meet you and nice to be here.
Congratulations! It's not every day you take flight. You're an airline pilot, but now you're writing a book about it. Tell us, ta kamata pe mua me he kamataanga. Tell us where you're from in Tonga, and then we'll go from there. And how this journey you were able to, excuse the pun, but spread your wings and fly. Let's start from your roots in Tonga. Ka taki pe Silva.
Okay, are we doing this in Tongan language or are we doing it in English?
We're going to be cool and mix it, Tongan and English.
Mix it.
Go, yeah,
Okay, yeah. I grew up in Tonga, in Vava'o. In my book, it will say, yes, I'm a Vava'o girl from Pangaimotu.
Iwi.
And went to school right through to year 12, work in Tonga before I fell in love to a white man and migrate to Australia.
And tell us about your upbringing and how you fell in love with, or where did the passion for flying come in?
It's quite a really fairy tale kind of story because growing up in a little village in the island of Pangaimotu, to tell someone that you dream about flying, it's almost like you're asking someone to tease you, mock at you, and so forth. So it was a little secret fantasy. So, but all my family knew for every time there's an aeroplane fly over, I'm always out there and I will stare at the skies until the aeroplane disappeared.
Wow.
So from that day forward, it was like a fantasy, not quite a dream, because a dream is something you want to get. Fantasy, it's just like in your little fantasy world that you think you are a bird and flying. So that's how it all started. So I kept it tight secretly in my heart until I met the love of my life and eventually disclosed to him my fantasy of flying. But technically I was dreaming to become a doctor because
wow.
In those days, there's already Tongan doctors. So there's already someone to look up to, and I know I can make it there. I don't know how, but for flying, it was definitely a fantasy in my world.
So when did that fantasy become a reality?
When I disclosed it to Ken, we weren't even married at the time.
Go ahead.
But I believe, it was getting a little bit serious, and I sort of thought that he was trustworthy and he's from another country. He wouldn't tell. So I told him. Luckily enough, he sort of looked at me and says, well, you can still get those dreams. There shouldn't be any time frame for that. So then you get married, you have kids, and life get in the way, mortgage get in the way, raising kids and so forth.
Go yeah.
And it was never mentioned until about 12 years later from that day.
Nā ianga whewhe rewa ho o ako I he mala e koe ni o e ngau e whakapailate. Tell us about what you had to go through. You're a Tongan female, for someone who wanted to be a doctor and now completely changed into doing this, e ngau e whakapailate.
Yeah. When my husband turned around and said, do you still want to fly? Of course, under circumstances, he was diagnosed with his cancer. He said that, and I thought, oh, it's a dying man saying. He doesn't mean it. So, of course, it was after going through the aggressive series of chemotherapy and so forth. He bounced back and he said, "Do you still want to do that flying?" And I thought, "Were you serious?" I didn't see how the heck we're going to fund it with two little kids already,
Yeah.
there. And then, of course, he gave me a gift, which was an introductory flight. And then the rest was history. But coming back to your question in studying to be a pilot, I wouldn't segregate that pilot was something that hard and unreachable. No, it's no difference than be a doctor or lawyer or any other profession, a journalist, right? You still have to go through the process of studying and so forth. You put your mind into it, you stay focused,
Oh, yeah.
sky's the limit.
I love the puns that we're dropping here with the sky's the limit, spread your wings and fly.
I know, how ironic, eh?
And tell us about your career as a pilot. Aia na ke ngawe whakapailate pe I Australia, na hawhainga maari ke wholau ai ki Tonga eiki o pe koe ngahi wahe whanua ai Pasifiki?
I have been absolutely blessed, and I'm not saying that in any diminishing way. Talk about being at the right place at the right time. There are certain elements of luck into every normal living, right? So when I went through all the process of training and getting each license one step at a time, to get into the, building your hours, because you don't just become an airline pilot. You have to start as a commercial pilot. You have to build your hours. You have to do a certain amount of work, exam, and so forth. So I was an instructor. That was the first step for me to get there. And then from there, I got my airline license with no airline to go. So by that stage, my age, it's already class of vintage for airline flying at that time. I was only 33 or whatever, but I got the opportunity, my first break, my homeland, Tonga, Royal Tongan Airline gave me my first step, and I flew for RTA for 5 years. And then I came back, of course, various other airlines, and of course, my prime possession of flying, I would say, the Royal Flying Doctor. My wishing to be a doctor, and now I'm a pilot, combining the two and making my flying so meaningful, because I am doing a service, rescuing people and helping out. So it then eventually built into Virgin Australia and finish up with the 777 long haul international for 15 years.
Wow.
Yes.
What a journey. What a journey. We're both clapping for you.
Thank you.
Even people listening in from Aotearoa and around the globe are just so inspired by your story. Silva. And now your book is going to be in all good bookstores and online as well from next week, the 19th of this month. Tell us about this book and who would you like to, purchase a book? Who is it for?
I like to think my book have a very wide genre. A mother, grandmother of my age could still pick up that book and enjoy it, because I feel like my book resonates with a lot of people out there. It's very, very relatable. We talk about, we fall in love, we fall out of love, we have broken love, we have grief, and we have triumph. So I believe it's quite wide. And on the other flip of the coin, a young girl, which I hope, I never wrote the book to inspire people. I don't think I'm qualified to be an inspiration talker or, I did what I felt like I'd love to do. But if a young girl pick up that book and go, wow, a little girl from Pangaimotu did this, of course I can do it. So in that way, that will take my story to another level. But I felt like it's a little bit of fun in it. There's a little bit of entertainment, a little bit of love story, a lot of sacrifice to get there. And the reward is unbelievable. So I think it's cover all ages, general.
Congratulations once again, and I've opened up from the beginning, and I'm very intrigued to read more, into where the journey takes us. But for now, we're so honoured to have you on our Polokalama. Ko whawhawhonga e te Polokalama I he whakamalo ia mooni I ho o tuku taimi ke kau mai ai he Polokalama koe ni o e whiawhini ke mea I hou e ki pe lau ilo ke ka kai kotoa I he whanua ni Aotearoa pea mo e kolo pe whoki mamani furi pe I he talanoa maharia ko ke vahe mai o mau inasia I he whiawhini. Island Girl to Airline Pilot by Silva Mcleod is going to be available from next week. So look up Island Girl to Airline Pilot. Whawhiawhia apito vahe and it's a Tongan story told by a Tongan person. And
Absolutely.
Ko ia. Oi, selke mamaulahi.
Yes.
So, te maua,
Yes.
o te ki whasi koe ni, si lolo. For you, as we're honouring you and your journey, and we wish you the very best with your books, and may you continue telling more stories. But for now,
Thank
ofalahi
you.
atu moe lotu.
Ofalahi atu. God bless.
God
Thank
bless.
you so much, John.
Take care.